The nurse wouldn't meet my eyes when she came out of the ER. She didn't need to, I already knew. Her gloves were stained pink, blood washed in water. Not much of it, but enough. My wife was inside, and our twins weren't. She whispered something, words I can't remember. I only recall the sound of a monitor beeping, the sterile air, and the feeling that the world had shifted into silence. Then the sheriff walked in, hat in hand, face rehearsed. "There's been an accident," he said, like I hadn't seen the twisted wreck that used to be her car. The boy who hit her, Derek Hall. The name struck like static. Senator Hall's son. The sheriff looked down at his boots. "Best to let this one go. The Hall family owns this county. Owns." I looked at the hospital room through the glass. My wife's hand lay limp against the sheets, pale and still. 8 months. 2 heartbeats. Gone. And I, Sergeant Major Ghost Carter, was told to move on. For 22 years I hunted war criminals. I knew how men hid their sins. Behind money, behind family names, behind God. But nothing prepares you to face that kind of evil at home. Derek Hall ran her off the road, drunk, laughing, posting his last video to social media before the crash. I saw it. The clip was taken down an hour later, replaced by a press release about a tragic misunderstanding. The sheriff came by with his apology, said the boy was traumatized, said he'd suffer enough. I watched his lips move, but my mind was elsewhere, counting seconds, angles, timing. Not of revenge, not yet, just truth. Because truth is the first weapon. That night I sat beside my wife's hospital bed. Machines whispered around us, steady as a heartbeat that wasn't theirs. She didn't wake, but I spoke anyway. They won't bury you under lies. 3 days later, I began to dig. No guns, no threats, just questions, quiet ones, directed at the right people. A bartender who saw Derek's car leave the club that night. A nurse who noticed the sheriff's nephew falsifying the toxicology report. A hotel clerk who swore Derek wasn't alone. I paid no one, I threatened no one. I didn't have to. They all remembered the ghost. Each piece fit into a pattern, clean, deliberate. Senator Hall had buried worse, but this was sloppy. Because Derek wasn't sober, and someone in the sheriff's office had made sure no one ever knew. By the end of the week, I had everything I needed: video evidence, a blood sample, a signed statement. Still, I waited. Rage is useless unless it's patient. When you've lived as long as I have in the silence between gunfire, you learn. The real battle isn't killing a man. It's letting him destroy himself while you watch. I met Senator Hall at a fundraiser. I wore my dress blues. His handshake was warm, political. His eyes, empty. "Sergeant Major Carter," he said. "A pleasure." I smiled. "The pleasure's mine, Senator. I think we share a mutual interest." He didn't recognize the tone at first, until I handed him a small drive. Silver, unmarked. "Everything's on there," I said. "The crash footage, the doctored report, the blood test." I leaned in. And the girl Derek was with that night. His smile fractured. Behind him, cameras flashed, champagne sparkled, and laughter filled the air like static. But in his eyes, I saw it. Panic. He knew I wasn't bluffing. Because men like me don't bluff. The story hit every major outlet the next morning, leaked from an anonymous source. Derek Hall arrested. Sheriff suspended. Senator resigning for family reasons. They called it a scandal. It wasn't. It was a reckoning. No bullets, no blood. Just truth. Weaponized. When I visited my wife's grave that night, the town was quiet. The hospital lights blinked in the distance like dying stars. I placed a single folded paper on her headstone. It was the front page, Senator's son indicted for vehicular manslaughter. I whispered, "They'll never touch you again." People think justice feels like victory. It doesn't. It feels like silence, like an engine cooling after the fire's gone out. I sat in the truck for hours, watching the wind move through the cemetery gates. I thought about the sheriff, the senator, the son, how they built their world on immunity, on fear, and how easy it was to make it collapse with nothing but proof. My wife once told me I was too calm for this world. She said it like it was a flaw. Now, it's the only thing that keeps me breathing. When I finally started the engine, the radio came alive with news of another scandal, another man falling. The world doesn't end with explosions. It ends with the sound of someone finally realizing, the ghost never leaves. Justice wasn't vengeance. It was the quiet knowing that the truth had outlived them all.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.